Hello and welcome to this beginner's guide to BrickLink. My name's Jeremy and I'm a Lego fan from the UK. I've been buying from BrickLink for about 3 years now. We've put this guide together to help familiarise new users with the website and the buying process. We hope you like it. In this guide we'll first look at what BrickLink is, including a brief summary of the site's history and the way in which it brings Lego sellers and buyers together. We'll then move on to buying from BrickLink. I'll show you some of the key features of the site and take you through a typical buying process. We'll finish with a few tips and tricks to help you get the best from your BrickLink experience. So let's get started. BrickLink is an online marketplace for Lego, which lets Lego fans from around the world find just the sets, minifigures and individual elements that they need. The site is used by thousands of sellers, from individuals to large toy shops, to sell new and used Lego to all of us buyers. BrickLink is not an auction site where buyers bid for items. Instead, sellers set the price and add shipping costs once the order is complete. BrickLink began life around 1990 and was the creation of a remarkable man called Daniel Jezek, a Czech immigrant to the United States. A Lego fan and accomplished software programmer, Dan realised that there was a market for bringing Lego buyers and sellers together, and he wrote and maintained the site for 10 years as it grew to become the leading Lego marketplace. I think it's fair to say that, outside of the Lego group itself, Dan is probably the most influential person in the Lego community's history. His vision has provided a platform for this community to grow, and it's provided work opportunities for hundreds of people. Sadly, Dan died in 2010, aged just 33. His family took on the huge challenge of running the site in his memory, and they've done an admirable job. In the summer of 2013, BrickLink's next phase began as the site was bought by a Lego fan and internet gaming entrepreneur from South Korea called Jae Kim. Since then, Jae and his team have helped to maintain the site whilst preparing for a modernised and updated version with many more capabilities, BrickLink 2.0, and we're all waiting with excitement to see what Jae's team come up with. It looks like BrickLink is in good hands. BrickLink has had more than 150 million visits since it began and has close to 200 million items for sale. There are over 7,000 sellers based all around the world in over 60 countries. It's a huge marketplace. So how does BrickLink work? Well, sellers buy Lego from a variety of sources. Sometimes they buy privately from other BrickLink stores or from other places like second-hand sales or supermarket offers. Some buyers have arrangements with toy stores to buy up surplus stock of Lego sets and minifigures. Others buy wholesale in bulk, while some sellers are simply Lego fans selling off some of their own collection. Sellers sort the Lego they get into sets, elements, that's bricks and other parts, minifigures, and other items such as instruction manuals and merchandise. They then add these to their catalogue and wait for us buyers to come along. It's important to note that BrickLink does not actually handle the payment from buyers, unlike other marketplace sites such as Amazon Marketplace. Instead, sellers decide how they want to be paid and will contact the buyer to arrange final payment, including shipping costs. BrickLink simply introduces the buyer and seller to each other. For this service, sellers pay fees to BrickLink. So let's talk about the buying process, starting with a look at the key areas of the site for buyers. So this is the home page. Let's look at some of the areas in more detail. The Buy Lego section takes buyers straight to lists of items for sale and to stores. So if you know exactly what you want to buy, this is a good place to start. However, many buyers I talk to, myself included, usually start by browsing the catalogue instead, and we'll get to that soon. The search page allows for more detailed hunting for specific items, with filters for the age of the item, the colour, the condition, the price, and the seller location, for example. The Members section allows you to search for a particular store, or look at a member's feedback, for example. Now, the catalogue is where I tend to begin my searches. This is a database of pretty much every Lego item that's ever been made by the Danish company, arranged by category. And it's a great place to browse, and you can then jump to items for sale once you know what you want. The wanted list is a powerful tool for serious buyers who want to buy several types of item at once, or who want to be notified when a particular item becomes available. Finally, My BrickLink is all about you, your profile, your recent orders, and your feedback. So here's an example of browsing for parts and buying a particular part. We'll start this example in the catalogue area. Now this lets you narrow down the category of items to sets, parts, minifigures, etc. You can also search for items in a particular colour. Now this is very useful for me. I tend to build spaceships in classic space colours. That's blue and grey, by the way. So it's handy to be able to filter by colour. You can also look at inventories for sets. So if you want to see which parts appear in a favourite set, or to complete a set that has missing elements, for example. You can even look at price guides, which summarise the minimum, maximum and average prices for each item sold in the recent past. And this helps you decide whether a particular offer really is the bargain it appears to be. So let's go into parts, and we can see every category listed out on the screen. Now I'm interested in browsing a new category, just to see if I can find new and unusual parts to use on a spaceship. So let's have a look at the top right column where there's a category called Sports. Now that sounds interesting. So here we go, we now see all the sports items, and look, there's a very promising part in this section. In fact, I have used this in 2 large spaceships, although it was originally part of a sports field, I think. And here it is along with its BrickLink reference number. So let's take a closer look. Here's that part with some details, including the list of items for sale by colour. And naturally, as I've said, I'm interested in blue, and I'd like 2 of them for my next ship. So here's a list of that part in blue by seller, and you can sort this list by price or quantity, for example, and you can also filter the list in more detail. For example, if you only want to see sellers in your country or only a minimum quantity. So for instance, here's that same item from UK sellers only, since they'll probably have the cheapest shipping costs to me. Remember, you won't find out the shipping cost until the seller notifies you. We'll talk more about that later. And here are 2 items from a particular seller. Look at that, only 4p each. What a bargain. Right, I think I'll buy these. So click, and I'm now at the seller's homepage. Here I can read their terms and conditions and see other things they have for sale too. But no, I only want these 2 items, and I really want them. So let's add them to my cart, and then you know the score. I can go to checkout and enter my login details, or create a new profile if I'm new, and finalise the purchase. And once I've done this, the seller will be in touch in the next day or 2 with a message in the My BrickLink area once the final total is calculated. Most sellers use PayPal or bank transfers for ease of payment, and then all I have to do is wait for that postman to arrive. So finally then, some tips and tricks to get the best out of BrickLink. Firstly, make a wish list using the wanted list option. Now it does take some getting used to, but it can help you to buy the items you need in the best combination, using as few suppliers as possible to save on shipping costs, and it'll also alert you when the items you need become available in the right quantity. You can create several lists for different projects if you want, so it's a top tip for pro builders. Next up, be smart about shipping. Now admittedly, one drawback of this site is that you'll only find out the shipping costs for definite once you've already committed to the order. So read each seller's terms carefully first. Some sellers add extra charges for handling or for small quantities spread across several lots, because this adds to the complexity when they're packing. And you need to know this before you order. Even though payment doesn't happen immediately, a placed order is a legal contract, and you will be expected to pay when that time comes. So it clearly makes sense to A, buy from sellers with low shipping and other fees, and B, to combine as many orders with one seller as possible to reduce the overall cost to you. A wanted list can help with this, as we've said, as can filtering your searches, or even just sticking with some favourite stores to begin with. Okay, next, stay in control. Now, you might be buying parts that cost a few pennies each, but these costs can quickly stack up, believe me. So, it's best to have a budget and stick to it. I'm sure we all know that. But the site is so addictive that this can be hard to achieve. If only all those lovely Lego bricks weren't so darn tempting. And that's us done. Enjoy this wonderful website that's made possible some of the most astounding Lego creations in the world and has brought joy to thousands. Thanks for watching this. Now get buying and start building.